we're back. Sometimes my coworker, Kirk, has to pick up a phone call. So, whatever. I'll just edit it, I guess. Okay, so I finished filling out just my titles, right? I got freshman, sophomore, junior, senior total, pet, no pet total. So now I'm going to plug in what I know. If there's 100 people in each grade, that means the total freshman is 100. Total sophomore, 100. Total junior, 100. 100. So I'm going to fill that in now. So that means my total, as I'm going to refer to it as, the total number of people I asked is not 100. It's 100, 200, 300, 400. So that's my total. And I'm going to refer to something as the total, and that's what I mean, the total. Total. So 55 freshmen due. So in pet freshman, I'm going to put 55. 75 sophomores due. So in pet sophomore, I'm going to put 75. Juniors that do not are 35, so I'm going to put that there. And then seniors that do are 40. Okay, great. It's a little sloppy handwriting, and I'm going to fix it, but that's for, it's a little slop. Great. So now the important thing to do is to figure out the other column. If there's 100 total freshmen and 55 do have a pet, that means 45 do not. And I just got the 45 by doing 100 minus 55. Use about. Great. Sophomore, if there's 75 that do, that means there's 25 that don't. With juniors, if there's 35 that do not, there's 65 that do. And then with seniors, if there's 100 total, 40 that do, 60 that don't. And then the very last thing you want to do is just tally up this column. We're going to do 55 plus 75 plus 65 plus 40, and that gives us 235. And then we're going to do 45 plus 25 plus 35 plus 60, and that's going to give us 165. Great. So now our entire table is filled out. It's everything you need to know. Great. Awesome. Now we can move on. So that's how to fill out a table. What I'm going to do now is find my paper towel to erase, and I'm going to start introducing symbols. And there's 3 symbols that you're going to see. There is this N-looking thing, the U-looking thing, and this line. So this represents and. And this literally means intersection, I believe. I might have made that up, but we'll use it for the intersection. This represents or. And I believe this stands for union. And then the last one is going to represent forgiven that. And I'm going to do more examples about this line thing. There we go. There's light. I'm going to do more examples for this than the other two because I think this is the easiest. This is medium. This is the hardest. But once you get it, you get it. So let's start with and. So let's say I have a question. What is the probability if I put all 400 of these people in a hat and I randomly pick someone, what is the probability that they are a freshman and have a pet? And is the easiest one. Freshman and have a pet. So I'm going to look in my chart, freshman, pet. See how they intersect here? So freshman, pet, there's 55. And anytime we have and or, we're going to put it over the total. So 55 over 400. If you left it like this, I understand, but I am going to simplify it for you. The simplified version is 11 over 80. Not too bad, right? Just find where they meet up and then do that. So and is your friend. So if I were to find the probability of senior and no pet, I'm going to use my handy dandy chart. I'm going to look for senior, no pet. That's 60. Put it over the total. So 60 over 400, which simply simplifies to 3 over 20. Ta-da! Okay, so that's and. I love and. And is easy peasy. Or is when we kind of kick things up a notch. And or is super visual. I'm going to do my best to not block things that are important, but it is what it is. So let's say, what is the probability that I pick someone that's a sophomore or has a pet? So I want to include all the sophomores and all the people that have pets, right? So how many sophomores do we have total? 100. How many pets do we have total? 235. So I'm going to start off by adding them together, right? So 100 out of 400. We said 235 out of 400. But we have a problem. And the problem is that a certain group is going to get counted twice. So the group that gets counted twice, and if we look at it, so we have sophomores, we included all the sophomores, we include the 100. We have pets, we included all the people with pets, we have 235. This group right here, the sophomore pet group, gets counted this way and gets counted this way. So what we're going to do is just subtract it. If it's counted twice, we only want to count it once, subtract it once. So we're going to do minus 75 over 400. So that leaves me 100 plus 235 minus 75 gives me 260 over 400. That's our answer, but we're smart and we're going to simplify. And the simplified version is, oh really, 13 over 20. So either of those is going to make me happy. I'm going to do one more or so you can see it. So let's say, what's the probability of picking someone that is a junior or has no pet? Okay. So we're going to do the same thing. We want to include all the juniors, we want to include all the people with no pets, and then we want to subtract that intersection. So all the juniors, we got 100. All the no pets, we got 165. But then we have to subtract the juniors with no pets, and that's going to be 35. And that gives me 230 over 400, or when we simplify, because you just take off a 0. And I'll circle it so you can see. That. 23 over 40. Great. So that's and, that's or. With and or, you put it over the total. Given that, a little bit different. Given that means that your denominator is going to not be the total. So I'm going to read this to you. Find out the probability that they are a freshman given that they have a pet. So the given that tells me what my denominator is going to be. It literally goes Numerator, sort of, I'll show you. Denominator. So my total for pet is going to be my denominator. It's going to be 235. But now I want to include the freshmen. So find out that they are a freshman given that they have a pet. I'm not going to use 100 because 100 has the no pet and the pet. I'm going to go to pet. I'm going to use this whole column, and I'm going to look for freshmen. 55. So my answer is 55 over 235, and when we simplify that, we get 11 over 47. And here you go, you can look at it. So you see that the pet's 235, you see that the freshman in that column is 55. 55 over 235, I simplified it to 11 over 47. Great, let's do another. So what if it was the reverse? What if it was, what's the probability of picking someone that has a pet given that they are a freshman? So we're going to do the reverse. And it's going to seem like it doesn't matter, but it does. It is so dark. There we go. I don't know how I fixed it, but I just did. Okay, so find the probability that they have a pet given that they are a freshman. So since freshman is last, we're going to use the total as our denominator, which is 100. Then I'm going to go in the freshman row, and I'm going to find out what amount have a pet. Oh my God, it's 55 again. When we simplify that, we're going to get 11 over 20. So as you can see, what happens is the numerator is kind of the same. Had this been a different number or this been a different number, the 11s wouldn't have matched up. But the 50, like the pre-simplifying, the numerators will match up. But the denominators, totally different. And that's because freshman here is our denominator. And then the intersection between those two is the top. Then you just simplify as normal. We're going to do two more because I think that this is probably the trickiest to understand. And the more examples you have, the easier I hope it will be. So let's look at it. Let's do sophomore, given that they have no pet. And no pet, given that they are a senior. So what I'm going to do is, if you would like to play along, I'm going to show you this. You can pause the video and try and figure it out yourself, which would be now. And now I'm going to explain how to do it. So sophomore, given that they have no pet. No pet is last, I'm going to use no pet's total. So 165, the intersection is 25. So my answer is 25 over 165. Or when I simplify it, 5 over 35. Great. Find out no pet, given that they are a senior. So I'm going to go to the senior total, which is 100. Going to go to no pet, that's going to be 60 over 100. And when I simplify that, it is 3/5. And that is all I have for you today. Thank you for watching. Sort of short, you know, it is what it is. But I hope it helps. Remember, if you ever need just a refresher or extra help or a simple question to be answered, just email me, ask for a Google Meet. I would love to see your faces. And that's all I got. So thanks, guys. Bye.